Nina Zamora from Gravitas National Title. Welcome to today's RREAF Academy session. Today we'll be focusing on how title insurance relates to real estate transactions. Title insurance is essential to protecting ownership rights and minimizing risk. We'll touch base on what title insurance is, how policies differ from residential and commercial transactions, and what you should be looking out for during the closing process. Let's get started. We're a subsidiary title insurance company for RREAF Holdings. Basically what that means is we close all of their commercial deals, whether it be sales, refinances, or any construction loans or anything of that nature. We also do have a residential team that closes for Gravitas Management Realty, so they handle those transactions. We also take in outside business as well. I don't know whether y'all will continue to want to experience careers in these adventures, or if you're just here to get a taste of what commercial real estate is like in the different departments. But title is very much a stage of, I will call that's part of a commercial deal. I'll talk a little bit about residential too, and how y'all probably may be familiar with more on the residential side of things versus commercial's bigger, more complex, longer deals to work out. So anatomy of a deal, y'all again have approached this. So whether y'all identify each of these stages as, the prelude negotiation, the execution, the closing, the integration, where post-closing changes in the control part or anything like that, and then the operations part, we're actually beginning to form and work the business. Where we're at, like I've said, we are down here at the closing part, which is title insurance. When you buy property, you want to make sure that you own that property, correct? And you don't want anyone come knocking on your door once you sign your deed saying, hey, you're on my property. What are you doing here? You need to get off. So to prevent those kind of scenarios as a whole, whether it's commercial, whether it's residential, you want to go through the title insurance process of what the closing process. So when you're signing your contract with the buyer seller, you're going to go through title insurance to close your deal. One of the things that we do, whether it be residential, whether it be commercial, is that we're going to search for title. We're going to search for the chain of title and see if there's any defects, see if there's any covenants, restrictions, or easements that are going to prevent maybe make or break your deal. So if there's any issues with chain of deed or anything like that, then we'll work with our underwriters to figure out how to cure those matters. So that way when you, as the buyer, want to buy your home, you're gonna rightfully own that, and you don't have to worry about there being any problems with whether you've got outstanding liens or mortgages or anything like that, or you're gonna have, I guess from a residential standpoint, you're gonna have a long-lost cousin come down, knocking on your door and saying, hey, you're on my property, or on my grandma's property. This is mine, not yours.
So title insurance is not necessarily like your stereotypical insurance that you buy and if something happens, someone comes in and helps you out. It's more of you guys are going through the due diligence of making sure that there's nothing on the back end that y'all haven't seen yet that's going to affect this purchase.
Correct. Yes, yes, and that's a good way to put that, is that we are doing our due diligence to making sure that you guys or companies are going to own. And again, it can get with commercial, it gets a little bit more complex with construction loans, with refinances. Maybe I don't want to dive in a lot into that because then I'll lose you. But whether, like I said, in a commercial real estate deal, wherever you guys are at, it comes down to here. If you even have the knowledge and you begin to understand what the stage includes, it'll help you just as you progress in your career. Venture out into title, maybe you help a commercial real estate company with this part of the process. We work a lot with Brad, Don, and Jerry. We meet with them probably about a few times a month to go over closings that RREAF has, whether it be sales, reconstruction loans, refinances, whatever. And so as along the way, when we've developed as a company, they've been learning and we've been learning more about each other and how to get RREAF to what they need to do and when to close. So
why wouldn't you do this part like through the negotiation process?
We need a contract. So again, if it's a sale, I need a contract, or I need a request from title from the lender to do a refinance or a construction loan. It's more of when you're negotiating, you can ask certain title questions. We will help them address some certain questions, or like title costs, closing costs, or anything like that, especially for national deals. Kind of getting that information that will help them with their negotiation of provisions of the contract or anything of that nature. Some of the stuff, depending what a company is looking to learn out of the negotiation phase that will help them with that, we can't really provide answers because we haven't done the title work for it. I have nothing to go off on with the specific properties. Until we get to execute a contract or a request for title, that's when we will start that search and start working with our other title examiner, other people within the title insurance industry to gather that information. When we have all of that information, it'll give the parties or the borrower, the lender, more information about, okay, this is what's on the property. These are the outstanding liens, mortgages. These are the deed defects that we have to fix, restrictions that may need to be addressed by the parties. It gives you more of a basis of what you're dealing with, if that makes sense. It's kind of like taking the rug and you're finding out what bugs are under it kind of thing. So about us, I did talk about that a little bit before. So again, we're on the 4th floor. Gravitas National Title started in 2022. So we're fairly new here, I guess, with the company as a whole. I work on the commercial team. We have a commercial and a residential team. So my boss, Kara, she's the closer who is licensed to close the transactions. I work alongside with her and deal with all these title things prior to, and then she will take on the accounting part of things. Our residential team, Caroline and Macy, they handle, closing to home. And then of course we have Carrie, our president. She is, oversees everything, especially on an operations standpoint, deals with other aspects of the company that I don't deal with. So what we're doing, the research and examination for ensuring that we have marketable title, especially when you're in property law, that you have to have marketable title to convey property over on a sales standpoint. Once your deal is closed and we've researched and everything, we're paying off mortgages, we're paying off outstanding liens, we're paying off like weed liens or anything like that on a property that was done. When we get to that point, that's when we will issue you a policy, especially that's what you're gonna get. Anytime we finish a deal with RREAF or finish a deal with anyone, you either get a loan owner's policy or lender's policy. So an owner's policy is where you're gonna be, what you take as your policy is, you're the new owner, you're the buyer. Okay, great, I own this property, good and clear of title. That's the policy packet that you're gonna be taking. And the lender has something as well where they want to have their money insured. So we would call that a lender's loan policy. So when we're done closing, whether it be a refinance or construction, they will take that loan policy, and that's the type that they get, so to speak. For the lender's title policy, the policy protects the rights of the lender until the loan is paid off in full.
Yeah, you mentioned due to the title process for construction loans, what does that look like? Are you focusing more so on mechanics liens over like previous ownership?
I graduated law school in 2020, so I was in the family law world for a little bit before I decided, hey, I don't want to do that anymore. When I got pulled in through a good friend of mine to do titles about 2022, 2023 timeframe. In my short time of doing this, I've learned to answer your question on the construction piece of it. I don't think it works any entirely differently than a refinance. So there's not a set way that all of these construction loans are done. There's not a set way for refinance that they're all done and what's all included in these deals. I think that's what makes commercial, especially in the title, and so a little bit more complex and harder to grasp and learn, is because you've got just different things to address in each file. Here's just some of the commercial deals that we've done. We've done a Margarita Resort. There's several components to this Galveston deal that we're doing. That's going to be an ongoing one where I think we're going to be closing a construction loan here at the end of the month or sometime this summer. The construction loan is basically, I need money to go and build XYZ. Cottages, hotels, whatever it is. You want to get that money from the lender, and the lender's going to want a policy to insure their money. For instance, one component of the Galveston deal, they're getting a construction loan on the beach cottages part. So we do transactions out of state as well, not just in Texas. We work with another component or another title counterpart of ours that will help us pull title and everything like that, because we don't have the license to do that outside of Texas. And then some of these are some of the homes that I believe residential is closed.
When you're going through your due diligence of figuring out what's happening, and say you see some restriction or loan that it does not look good, what's your strategy to fix that?
So when you say it does not look good, do you mean like
for the owner or for us?
Depending whether or not this party has an attorney, we'll present it to the attorney, or we'll present it to the party themselves. We are a neutral party. So I just give you this work, and you buyer, seller, if this is an issue, you work it out. If this is a make or break deal. However, we will do our best to help you clear it, to help you get it resolved. If there's recordings or anything like that that can cure the matter, we will do that part. But I don't have a dog in the fight, so to speak. I've seen deals where certain things have popped up and it is makes or break a deal. That I don't have a say in whether or not y'all have to move forward. It's just based on what provisions are in your contract.
So I don't know how much you can speak from this, from RREAF's point of view. Are they going into this deal knowing, okay, there's probably going to be some mortgages that are fully paid off, some title stuff that we need to deal with? And is that coming out of their pocket, or our pocket, RREAF's pocket?
I will say on some of these RREAF deals, like if they're construction loans, that RREAF has already owned the property, and let's say they're getting a construction loan so because they want to build on it, then they're gonna kind of already know what could show up or what's been needing to take care of. If you're out in acquisitions, you're looking to go get a new property, you don't know what's on it. It just depends on what is disclosed to you. I would have to think if you're dealing with commercial property, you're going to be dealing with honorable parties.
I'm a bit confused about the concept with title policies. So can you explain out in the text, I guess, the owner or like the lender of the bond?
It's insurance, right? We're insuring you that, because from an owner standpoint, that you're going to be the owner of the land. You want to buy a house from this person. You want to make sure that you say, okay, if I buy this house from you and I pay money to you for this house, I want to make sure that I own it and not somebody's going to knock on my door saying you're on my property, because it's that deed that tells you who the owner is, right? Even though you give someone money, but if this person's name is on the deed, this guy's the owner until, another deed is recorded and so forth. Like I said, we're on the 4th floor, so come see us. Our president has a candy bar, so feel free to come get some chocolate or any sweets that you have on there. The dog is up there, yes, so you can come say hi to the dietitian. So thanks for having me, appreciate it. That wraps up today's session. I hope you're walking away with a better understanding of how title insurance works and how it plays such a crucial role in both residential and commercial real estate transactions. If you have any questions or want to dig deeper into anything we've covered, feel free to reach out. For those watching online, be sure to check out other episodes of the RREAF Academy series. See you next time.